From the modern ghost town of Longkamantan, I decided to go towards Longsan through the jungle. Although the people explained to me that the only possible road is, well, along the road where I came from. However, I calculated, that from here, in a straight line to the Longsan airport, should be 4 kilometers. But, of course, I will not be able to go in a straight line along the Baram River. There are cliffs along the river. There are small side rivers. There are hills and swamps. And most important of all, there is no trail, it seems. This little trail here, and my luggage is so heavy. Here somebody has harvested dabai, the Borneo olive. They've chopped down a lot of branches and stripped them of the extremely valuable olives. Here, they have left one behind. This is maybe the most revered, the most expensive fruit of Borneo. I don't know, should I really do this? I'm really tired. I'm sunburned, I'm tired. Some old lady in a boat on the river, probably going to Long Liam. Yeah. Seems like Long Liam is on the other side of the river. There is even a transmission tower. We will not be able to walk along the bank. You see, it's steep and the water is high. I'll try it. Maybe I'll just come back after a couple 100 meters. Let's see how it turns out. Finally, a red jungle snake fruit, which is in season, even overripe already. They left a lot of dabai behind. It's expensive stuff, folks. A red jungle snake fruit, not brown and hairy like the ones you get on markets. However, this one is already rotten inside. This one also rotten. Nobody picked them here. Too few people living in the village. This one could still be okay. Sour and refreshing. Really? Left behind a lot of dabai. Oh my. Shall I really do this? I'm not even in the jungle and already tired and lost and oh god, and my shoe impaled. Maybe I should change at least into my Adidas Kampung. Adidas Kampung is a mocking name for very cheap rubber shoes. It's this way, I guess. Not even in the real jungle yet. Nice house, pineapple plantation. Oil palm. Nobody is harvesting those here. Already starting to rot. Pepper. This could be some wild pepper. Definitely in the genus Piper. Not necessarily Piper nigrum. Pineapple. Okay. Let's see if there is somebody in this house talking about crazy white man who wants to go to Longsan through the jungle. Smell of tarap. And there is a tree behind me, but apparently no fruits. Well, it's gonna be fun. The village of Long Liam on the other side of the Baram River here. Interesting. Maybe there is another access to a pier or something. This other place just looked like a little trail that goes to the water. Nah, decided against Long Liam. I want to reach the Longsan airport 4 kilometers from here. Oh, it's our lucky day today. This young tree over there, this young lush tree, is an Encala. It's the Borneo avocado. Now we saw the Borneo olive and the Borneo avocado within a very short span. Oh, can I snack some oil palm fruits, folks? I'm hungry. I've had a hearty breakfast, but nothing since then. Guess this is the official staircase to the pier. But I need to go that way. I bet it's gonna be easy for 1 or 2 kilometers. Then it's gonna get impossible. But of course, I will be too stubborn to turn back. It will get stuck in some, not so nice situation. Okay, let's at least put on the other shoes. The Adidas Kampung are basically Crocs for the jungle. They use them here for farming and for going into the jungle. Made out of one piece of rubber, very cheap, 2 to 3 euro dollar a piece. They will fall apart very quickly, within a couple days, or if I'm lucky, weeks. If I'm unlucky, they can rip immediately. I'll also put on my parang. I still have my heavy luggage, 2 backpacks. Let's see how this turns out. It's gonna be fun. Bet I'm gonna fall into the river. Some kaledang or pedalai, some artocarpos lying on the ground. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes fruits don't rot for quite a long time. Also those strange slimy green fruits which I cannot place, but they don't seem to be edible. Big mushrooms. So I decided to go low along the river. Let's see how far I can get here. Sometimes when the locals tell you it's impossible to get somewhere on foot, it's actually just very difficult, and they prefer to go on boat. But sometimes impossible actually means impossible by, I would say, sensible human standards. I asked for the real jungle. Here it is. Careful what you ask for. Of course it has been locked. The giant trees are gone, but it's recovering nicely. Beautiful spiraling vines here. Oh, very slippery. Very tired, but I still hope to get some rare fruits on the way. And the heavy backpack on my back is an insurance. If it's already past 2, if I don't make it to the next village, I can make camp in the jungle with reasonable comfort. I wonder if they ever sent out a search party for me, if they will tell stories about the stupid white man who took out from Long Kaliman and never arrived in Longsan. There is a vertical cliff down there, so I had to climb this almost vertical slope to make it up here. Here it's comfortable to walk, but the Baram River makes a bend around this hill, and I'm afraid the other side I have to go down to almost river level. Spent shells. Already there's a couple of those around Long Kaliman. Yeah, let's see how far this comfortable, rich path here will go on. Yeah, had to climb down from my hill. There is some jungle fruit here. I tried one already. Oh, it's kind of sweet. Reminds me of a date. Some other jungle fruit. I'm sure I've tried it before. Doesn't look like it's edible for humans. That's a good jungle. Not a pristine jungle, but one that's recovering nicely. I can hope to find nice fruits. Yeah. And they should definitely arrive at Longsan Airport before sunset or make a camp here. I have everything for a camp, but I didn't really plan to do this today. A little trail the hunters use here. Stuff is being chopped down, but here, well, this is my stick. It's strange. This way is barred, this way is also barred, and there is an urn in the ground there. There are a lot of, well, fairly modern archaeological sites around here. There is an abandoned Japanese fort. Yeah, they said it's somewhere behind the airport, but no, it must be closer to Longsan. Abandoned Japanese fort means probably unexploded explosives. They sent the tourists here for a hefty price. Also, there is an abandoned Chinese trading post. Also, several abandoned villages. This year, well, I don't think it means mines because there is a little durian tree that was planted there. It could mean traps. They are still using those traps from the Rambo movies around here. But it could also mean those are my durian trees, stay off. And this stuff is quite new. Oh, and here is a durian tree with a couple still hanging there. Okay, folks, I will ignore the signs. So I guess I'm not at the Japanese fort again, but who brought this heavy terracotta urn here and why? Is this a graveyard or was it used for cooking? I mean, this thing is heavy. Okay, there is the durian tree. There are durians on the branches. There is smell of durian. Oh, tampoy! Tasty bacaurea, but not ripe yet. And oh, this is an ancestral fruit forest. The bacaurea fruits are already 15 meters up in the air. I mean, for the durian, it's not a problem. It can fall from 15, 20, 30, 40 meters and still be picked from the ground. But the bacaurea is lost for mankind up there. Now it belongs to monkey kind. Over there is terculia with tasty nuts. However, I don't know if people here even use it at all. Right now, I'm mostly after the durians, but if I find something else I can use, I will be opportunistic. Okay, I can use this little creek to drink and wash my hands if I find the durian, because the flesh is quite oily and sticky. Now I just have to find the durian. A jungle fig which was munched by a bird. This is one of the worst looking species, but one of the better tasting ones. So it could be interesting to locate the tree. I did not find anything useful in the garden with the urn. It was refreshing to walk for a couple of minutes without my backpacks, but my shoes are not refreshing, so now I'm opting for a more natural footwear. It's so funny carrying 2 pairs of shoes on my back and wearing none on my feet, but until I was in my early 20s, I actually wore shoes only in winter and for official stuff. Why? Because I liked it that way and because my grandparents did it that way. Here's some nice ginger flowers. I could eat those, but I already ate enough ginger flowers today. Going down steeply, but on this side it's almost vertical towards the river. Some jungle fruits on the ground. This is Belian or ironwood. Apparently the fruit is also edible, but I've never met someone who knew how to prepare it. Don't know what this is. It kind of screams oxalate at me. Here somebody has dug a hole. It looks like when pigs dig quite deep holes, but most pigs, almost all pigs, got killed by some pig disease 3 years ago. The other possible culprit is a bear or a human. All three of them could have tried to dig out some underground bee's nest or wasp nest for the honey and the larvae. Guess I'll never know. Sterculia seems to be coming into season a lot here. And just when I thought I would actually prefer some jungle durians, I found this seed here. Something has definitely enjoyed it. There is some slime on it, but it could be some durian seed. There is no durian smell on it. That means it could rather be some of the other species. But which one? The red durian has dark seeds. Even the orange and yellow durians, they have quite a distinct smell. If this has not gone through a digestive tract of a bird or some other animal, probably a bird, another animal would chew it. Then this is none of the durians I know. This seed really baffles me. I want to find the fruit where it comes from. Now what is this? Looks a bit like an ilang-ilang fruit. Kind of remember I might have eaten something in the jungles of Borneo, something like this. Kind of remember it tasted bad. Folks, never do this, never eat stuff you don't know. No, not bad. Sour. A little bit like Garcinia rind. Wait. This is a Garcinia. It's a mangosteen relative. Look at that. Wow, a mangosteen relative. Hi folks, this is all the fruit. And deep in the jungles in the heart of Borneo, I found the Garcinia fruit, a mangosteen relative. It was more or less intact, but unfortunately I opened it because I thought it was nothing special, just some bad tasting jungle fruit. And then I regretted it because it seems I cannot find the second one. I'm here in the heart of Borneo, one of the last giant jungles in the world. This is not a pristine jungle. It has been locked decades ago, but it has recovered nicely into a nice biodiverse jungle. It is located near the Baram River. Actually, I can see the Baram, I know that the Baram River is less than 100 meters this way and 50 meters down. It is located near the abandoned Japanese fort between the villages of Long San and Long Liam. And yeah, I found two other completely rotten fruits on the ground. Here seems to be one. Oh! Don't even know if it's from the same tree. It looks very different. Well, this Garcinia fruit, as I said, unfortunately I broke it. But you can see that it's elongated and asymmetrical. Never seen anything like this. Usually the Garcinias I find here in the jungle, they are roundish or slightly elongated, not with a tip like this one, or slightly flat. And they're usually between pinkish and reddish. Some are orangish, some are yellowish, but nothing like this. Sorry that I make the video with one imperfect fruit, but it seems that I'm always looking around to find the second one. It seems that this happens to me with many rare Garcinias, and then I have something which was beautiful just a minute ago and I make an ugly video about it. So let's try this Garcinia. In Garcinia mangostina, the mangosteen, the rind tastes horribly. But the secret is almost all other Garcinias, I think there are a couple hundred in the world, have edible rind. Sour, not too bad, but it has traces of this latex that's also present in Garcinia mangostina. Look at the inside. The beautiful aerials. Can you see that there are several? Let me put it in the sunlight. Nice, not working. Can you see that there are several aerials which are probably surrounding several seeds? Now I broke it apart. The seeds seem to be underdeveloped. So I think the fruit is ripe, but the seeds were not developed. So it's not completely impossible that the normal fruit is more roundish. This might not be the typical shape of the fruit. Well, yeah, this one here and also the rotten ones were all more roundish. Yeah, it's always a problem when you make videos with insufficient amount of fruits. So folks, what do you think? What is this Garcinia? Please tell me. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful, the incredibly fruit-rich Borneo jungle. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Bah, mosquito landed on my nose. Found the second one of those durian-like seeds. Could it be a very simple explanation? A hunter went to the durian garden, took a durian fruit and ate it on the way and spit out the seeds. That would be the most simple explanation. Otherwise there must be a bird or some other animal that's spreading the seeds. So I think, yeah, the secret has been unveiled. It's just some local who is eating durian along the way. And I'm smelling the seeds he's spitting out. Well, fortunately I didn't lick it or bite it. Getting tired. Hardly making any progress on the map. I think I need a stick. This one will do. Yeah, folks, I cut down a little jungle tree. There are billions like this one around me. The problem is when people cut down large areas of the jungle, not when one person cuts down one little tree for his stick. This jungle, yeah, I'm proud to say it's recovering nicely. So even though I cut down this one little stick, this jungle has quite good chances ahead of it. Going up quite a tall hill. I'm already like 120, 150 meters above the level of the river. And I will have to walk those down again. Also my phone, everything I had saved in Google Maps with satellite and terrain disappeared. So I'm left with a very basic map. But here I found something beautiful. The stingless little honeybees. See this beautiful funnel made from wax? Actually, I'm wondering that it's open towards the top. There is one more here. Usually they will be somewhere here on the up on the tree trunk and pointing downwards. Those two are pointing upwards. And also have very interesting red and yellow colors. I hope those are the stingless honeybees. Down there they don't have honeycombs like normal bees, but they have pots, walnut-sized pots full of honey. So if I would dig this out, I could get a couple walnut-sized pots full of honey, but I don't want to harm those little fellows. Here again, anything in the sun with the real colors, yeah, they are flying around me, but since they are stingless, there is not much they can do against me. Poor little fellows, I leave them alone. Not gonna dig for their honey. I got leeches. If you don't want to see blood and gore, skip maybe the next 1 minute. Okay, let me show you. Here is one. They don't even need to bite me. My blood is gushing. Okay, and here where I have a wound, I have two already. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, it's the rainy season and we are in the hills, so yeah, get off me. get off me. Let's see. Cut my foot on something. Well, the fact that they are leeches doesn't make the mosquitoes less horrible. Funny, I didn't really expect leeches here, but yeah. When you are looking at cute little honeybees, you get horrible leeches. This hill already seems over 200 meters high and rising. Can hardly hear the river, and there is supposed to be a waterfall down there, so quite loud. Also the rotten palms, those things here are vicious. If you don't want to see blood, skip the next 20 seconds or so. This is just one of the many spots where they got me. I'm looking out for them all the time, but still, from time to time, I don't manage to escape them. They are the sturdiest rope of the jungle. Here is one of those. They are being used to make garden furniture, but they are also the most horrible spiny plant of all the jungle. Oh no, this hill is getting higher and higher. Hill is getting higher and higher. This was a hornbill. Did you hear the hornbill? Some little berries. I saw tracks. Deer or pig. Here they are. Not sure which one. We have big pigs and big deer here. Just plucked about a dozen leeches from my feet. Problem is I have hardly made any progress because I'm wasting all my energy climbing this high hill. It's already getting late, almost 4 o'clock. Theoretically, 4 kilometers in 2 hours shouldn't be a problem. And I'm making quite good speed. Oh, look at that, the butterfly on my stick. But for some reason, I'm not getting anywhere. Just got a half a kilometer away from the river according to my map. I guess this trail is cutting through a slight bend in the river. Let's see what happens. Now this is some big animal. Look at the size of those tracks. Here. Well, they have very big deer and very big pigs here. Could be either of those. Vines and more red snake fruit ahead. Relax, this was just a palm leaf growing over the trail. It's deer, not wild boar. Yeah, they have good sized deer around here, and most of the wild boars are dead from this disease. Well, I hope local deer don't attack people because the jungle is getting denser and denser. Lost the trail and the hill is getting higher and higher. Trying to walk around it, but it doesn't work. It's gonna get a lot higher because I just drank from a little stream. Found a nice fruit here. All those fruits coming from one single big structure. Yeah, but I'm a lot more lost than during the last couple clips. How high is this hill? Creeks everywhere. Must be a lot higher. Do you hear the creek? I need a lot of hill to produce a creek. Found some Artocarpus, probably Zaravacensis. The terrain and the vegetation are pushing me towards the peak all the time. I don't want to go up, but I have to. Followed an old loggy grot, which was abandoned decades ago, but now it goes in the wrong direction. There is a slight game trail. Well, I hope it's a game trail. Definitely not a trail by hunters, because I cannot see anything chopped down by a parang. Have to go roughly in this direction. Problem is, I'm in the highlands, where I totally wanted to avoid to be. I'm too far away from the river. Cannot even hear it anymore. But Longsan Airport is this way. So folks, you might ask, how did I end up in my tiny coffin-like bivouac tent about 200 meters away from Longsan Airport and less than 2 kilometers away from Linda's comfortable homestay. So my memory ran out when I was on top of this hill, this at least 300 meter high hill. Of course I had to walk down those 300 meters. Of course it started raining while I did this. The most frustrating thing in this part was when I looked at my phone about every 10 minutes and couldn't see any advancement. Like before, it was minimal. I look at my phone every 10 minutes and I see the little dot. That's me moving a tiny little bit. But then for a long time I didn't see it move because I had to go down a very steep slope in the rain. Fortunately it was just a drizzle. Finally I arrived at the bottom and thought, okay, now my problems are over. Now I just walk over straight ground 1.5 to 2 kilometers through the jungle to the airport. From the airport there is a road. Well, I got bogged down a couple times because there were little side rivers. Some of them were not so little, 5-6 meters wide and probably over 2 meters deep. My stuff would have been soaking wet. The most frustrating in this part, when I wanted to cry for the first time, was when I had to walk quite a lot around such a little river. And then I ended up at some abandoned field probably with 4 meter tall vegetation. So I had to squeeze between the river and the vegetation. Is there rain inside my tent? I've never tried it out before. Well, yeah. So finally I managed to cross this river. There were many others. Small rivers which a couple hundred meters away from the Rajang River would be small incisions in the quite flat ground around there. But near the river they were filled with mud from big floods. I didn't fill up enough water on the hill. Well, now I'm dehydrated because of this. Well, then after some time I started seeing traces of people chopping stuff with their parang. However, hunters can take a boat and go wherever they want and then go a couple hundred meters into the jungle, go back to their boat. A couple times I thought I found trails, lost them again. I'm actually quite good at finding trails in the forest and staying on them, but this was on a totally other level. Lost probably 6 or 7 trails. At some time when I was just a couple hundred meters away from the airport building. Oh, the problem is Google deleted suddenly all the memory, all the satellite and relief and everything, so I could use just the basic map. Well, the basic map was showing me the big river, the villages and the airport. I couldn't even see in which direction the runway goes. This is going to be important. Oh. It was so crazy. Well, it is so crazy still. Well, at some point I found one of those abandoned ghost houses of those farms which somebody abandoned many decades ago. Back then it was not raining, otherwise I might have stayed there. Very creepy place, but I would have stayed there if it was raining. Well, it got dark. I was advancing very slowly. This whole trip from 2 o'clock till now, In a straight line it's 4 or 5 kilometers. But after 4 hours, that's 1 kilometer an hour, I still didn't arrive. Well, it got dark. I could use my night vision for a very long time, but when it got completely dark and it started going up and down, lots of rattan palms. If you have ever run into a rattan palm in your life, you know what I'm talking about, the spiniest thing in the jungle. But it's not real fun unless you do it at night. Oh. I'm severely dehydrated. During this trip, I managed to overcome my fatigue for about an hour. Then the fatigue overcame me again. Later I managed to overcome it again. Then it got the better of me. I managed to do it a third time. Well, first time it lasted maybe an hour, then second time less than half an hour, third time it was just for 10 minutes. So I'm incredibly exhausted, but that's not a big problem. Well, it got completely dark, so I had to use my phone. I had to use the flashlight, and also I had to use the GPS, because at some point I had to leave the Rajang River and go inland a couple meters through this jungle, couple 100 meters. For a couple kilometers during the dusk, and even when it got dark, well, for a couple kilometers, for a kilometer maybe, I used the Rajang River for orientation. Didn't need the phone, but then it got so dark, totally dark, I had to use the flashlight and the GPS. The good thing about the flashlight is it makes you see everything about 3 meters away perfectly. The bad thing is you cannot see far away things, and so you basically you cannot plan ahead. You can avoid stumbling your head into a tree, but you cannot see in which direction you can go like 20 meters without too much trouble. Then it started raining. My phone became unusable. When it finally became unusable, I was less than 300 meters away from the airport building, maybe 250 meters. I stumbled around, not too much, maybe 200-300 meters. I realized first, I'm incredibly tired. Second, I'm bumping my head into every tree. Third, I'm falling over every tree trunk. And fourth, I'm going uphill. As far as I know, I've never been to the airport, but it should be on level ground near the river. So I was definitely not where I wanted to be. I was going uphill. I don't know, maybe it's on a higher terrace. It should also be safe from flooding. And then I started putting myself some goals. Go to the next shiny fungus. I saw only one beautiful green shiny mushroom, but there is a lot of white fungus shining everywhere in the jungle. Basically most of the white fungus you see during the day, it's just as white at night. Maybe if I collected a bundle of really shiny ones, I could use them almost like a flashlight. Haven't tried it. Well, for some time I thought I'm less than 300 meters away from the airport buildings. But since I cannot use satellite, I cannot see anymore in which direction the runway goes. So basically, instead of aiming for a long line, that's maybe half a kilometer or 1 kilometer long, I'm aiming for a spot. Oh my. The rain is seeping through this tent. Oh, I'm using it for the first time. I just squeezed myself into it in my bedroom for 2 minutes and decided it's going to be an emergency tent. Well, so I was aiming for the building because I didn't remember in which direction the runway goes. As I said, the phone finally gave up. Was so wet that I couldn't, that it basically started opening random apps instead of Google Maps. And yeah, I had to put it away. My phone is still working, but I'm afraid all my USB sticks, all my flash drives might have gotten wet, and that's dozens, maybe hundreds of videos I haven't managed to upload yet. Some of them about really interesting fruits. Well, so I noticed that I'm so tired and so confused already that I'm stumbling into each tree. And before I break something, I hit myself a couple times quite bad. One of the shoes basically ripped into two pieces. Those Adidas Kampung shoes, I put them on my feet at 2 p.m. They were completely new. I ripped them apart. They still had the price tag on them. The price tag connecting both shoes. I ripped them apart at 2 p.m. At 6 p.m. one was trash. For the last 1 hour or so I walked with just one shoe. I thought, okay, I can step. Most of the snakes and scorpions and spiders are active at night. I don't want to step on them. Finally I decided, yeah, without the rain this would have been maybe not a walk in the park, but would have ended quite easily. With the rain, it's just too much. It's too dangerous, it's too exhausting. Yeah, if I manage to walk 200 meters in the right direction, I might make it. If I walk 200 meters in the wrong direction, I'm already 400 meters away from the airport. A lot of people have died just hundreds of meters, sometimes dozens of meters, sometimes just meters away from help. Yeah, it's very sad. And I mean, it's not such a horrible situation, okay? I'm wet. I have no water, but for this I put out 2 clean t-shirts. It's not a torrential tropical downpour. It's a constant, yeah, it's a constant, not too weak, not too strong rain. It's a constant medium intensity rain. It's not gonna, well, it probably already percolated everywhere in my backpacks, because I put my stuff in there quite flimsily. I put everything in plastic bags, but didn't really wrap everything carefully into plastic bags. What did I want to say? I put 2 t-shirts outside to wring them out and drink some water. Right now dehydration is my biggest problem. I'm still hot. But in a couple hours, or maybe even less than a couple hours, yeah, the site which is being rained on is getting colder and colder by the minute. So soon hypothermia will get a big problem for me. I'm completely exhausted. That's the third problem. Well, I wouldn't say it's a real crazy survival situation. I mean, I will wake up in the morning, I would have slept like crap, I would be covered with leeches, but yeah, tomorrow morning I'll walk stumble a couple 100 meters to the airport and to salvation. But I might get sick. Extreme fatigue, and I was extremely tired even in the morning when I started the other hike, this crazy hike along the sunny road, which lasted forever, but apparently was just 6 to 7 kilometers, but in the tropical sun. Well, I was tired when I started that hike. I was very tired when I started, and very crazy to start a hike at 2 p.m. Well, all the jungle dwellers, all the people from the jungle tribes tell you, no, there is no hiking trail from here to Longsan. And there really isn't. Well, I was too crazy, I started this. But yeah, combination of fatigue, dehydration and hypothermia can really mess you up. So not only when it's about trying exotic fruit, also when about doing such crazy stuff like here, don't do it. Don't just walk into the jungle when the natives tell you no, you shouldn't walk into the jungle. there is nowhere to go that way. Oh, I also saw a lot of interesting stuff. A couple interesting fruits, nothing too fancy or I would have filmed it. Earth figs, more unripe artocarpuses on the ground and so on. I saw a worm about a meter long and as thick as my little finger, looking just like our earthworms in Europe. I saw a couple frogs. I heard a couple things, some of them could have been monkeys. What else? I walked through some pretty beautiful landscapes, nothing unusual for Borneo, but still impressive. I would have filmed some more, but at some time I just didn't feel like filming anymore. I just wanted to get somewhere. Yeah, what can I say? At the end I decided to cut my losses, and yeah, my stuff is wet. It will get wetter during the night. Maybe the phones will malfunction, maybe the flash drives will be unusable. So many crazy videos on those flash drives. Maybe I'll get wet here. Biggest difference between being here and being in civilization is the dehydration. You see? Oh, those t-shirts are moist, but not so soaking wet that I could wring them out. Funny, my other clothes were completely soaking wet. So yeah, if the phone still works, I'll give you a short update tomorrow morning. In the morning, my camp is a mess. My wallet is soaked. There was a bit of water inside my tent during night. I also spilled a lot of stuff which I was hiding from the rain. Well, I'll have to dry almost all my clothes and my sleeping bag and my mat and everything. Also, the other funny thing is, I thought that the last couple dozen meters without light, I was advancing through a very difficult jungle. I also had the impression that I was going up a pretty steep slope. Look around. This is actually quite an easy jungle to walk in, if you can see something. Funny thing is, during the night I realized that I still had my night vision. I had just lost it because they used my phone, and after I couldn't use my phone, after less than 100 meters I stopped. After less than 100 meters, where I thought that I was walking uphill through a very dense jungle full with vines. Well, it's really easy to walk jungle, it's completely flat. There are vines, but if you can see where you're going, it's basically a walk in the park. Still about 200 meters away from the airport buildings. Oh. My luggage is incredibly heavy because it's soaking wet. There's even water running out of it. Good that I didn't get any hypothermia during the night. Well, it's so wet here, my GPS could give up any moment, and then it's game over. I realized my orientation skills in the tropical rainforest are not as great as my orientation skills in other places. I was expecting trouble when I reached the airport building. Stuff like dense vegetation. Here it is. A fence. Here it is. Oh, maybe an irrigation ditch. At least the building is exactly where it's supposed to be. Oh, by the way, they tell you that those village airports sometimes operate just 2 or 3 days a week. On the other days, there is nobody there, especially not at 6 in the morning. So when I approached the airport, I was expecting trouble, stuff like dense vegetation where it has been cleaned years ago, a fence, a drainage ditch I cannot cross, maybe even that the airport was not exactly where Google says it is. Well, there was dense vegetation, about 15 meters of 2-meter tall ferns where I lost my parang and had to go back. There was a fence, but fortunately the ferns outside the fence were cleared. No ditch, and the airport was exactly where it was supposed to be. Yeah, I have really spent the night 300 something meters away from this airport. The funniest thing is, when I walked back, the airport was completely abandoned because there was no plane expected anytime soon, so there was nobody there. When I walked there about 2 kilometers down into the village, remember those kids who collected the durian in the water, those giant 5 kilo, very bitter, very tasty durians? I've been basically battling with those kids for the last couple days for the durians of this specific tree. Nobody else seems to be after them, but they and me, we after them. Well, basically they every day and every day. I'm in long sun. Well, I passed the little trail to those durians and thought, well, 200 meters in both directions. I should maybe get the durians. It's very early in the morning. I'll be the first one. However, I was so dehydrated and my luggage was so heavy from the water, I thought, no, losing like 10, 15 more minutes and carrying, well, if I found 4 of those durians, carrying 20 additional kilograms is too much. And after I walked past the trail, just 200 meters further, I saw those kids on the motorbike, parang and basket and everything. So once again, they bested me. Yeah, give those kids a medal. They defeated an international fruit hunter again and again.